ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot.
From all around the globe, I am the host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it's that time of the week for Four Men in a Box. Yes, we got Matt, Q, and Nick all in the house, fresh off of their show on the NCAA Insiders an hour ago. Go check that out, of course, on Twitter. Super stoked and excited to have them on board. I can't believe it. It's the fourth weekend, already a month into the NCAA college season, as my Huskies shocked the world last weekend, beating Vanderbilt. Maybe that's the start that they needed. I can tell you right now, here on Cape Cod, Gale wins. And the fact of the matter is, if you had to play a game outside, God bless you, because it wouldn't happen here back east. So stay where you are, my friends. If you are an East Coast guy, stay west, stay down south where the weather is warm. Today's headliner for the boys: can the Ducks tame the Trojans this weekend? Big matchup here with Oregon and USC, and of course some other big games that they're going to talk to you about. First and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download that app. It is free. Viva Tequila Seltzer, 6 flavors in all. The East Coast is cuckoo for coconuts. AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. Head on over to Facebook. Introduce yourself to Terry Smith, and then head back to AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. Steaks, chops, seafood, wines, appetizers, you name it, he's got it. 4 subscription plans. Set it and forget it. Check a box every 30 days. Terry's right there to deliver you the protein. Without further ado, let's see if I can do this correctly. Mr. Matt Grissom, Mr. Quentin Mills, Mr. Nick Cathcode. What's up, boys?
What's going on, Jeffrey?
Good morning, Jeff.
Jeffrey, how are you?
Week 4. Now we started 6 weeks ago when you unleashed your preview guide. We had 2 weeks of preview guides, futures. We've had 3 weekends in the books. We're now to week 4. And I know the headliner is LSU, Tennessee. Who's number 1? Knicks, Vols. I mean, they don't just hit homers. They hit grand slams. They got 6, 7. How many there? An offense that is in history mode. But we got plenty of time for that. Mr. Grissom, what are you seeing so far 3 weeks in?
Well, this week we don't get the headliners in LSU and Tennessee and all those teams because they're not playing anybody. This is like the week 4, week 3 of college football where everybody just plays that cupcake and nobody really pays attention. So we've got Big Ten play starting. I think some ACC games are starting. So now we're going to get to see a different view, honestly, of different teams that have been good. We don't know really how good. Purdue kind of comes to mind. Penn State, they're playing a doubleheader today. So I'm excited. It's kind of a quote-unquote boring slate, but it should be a good slate to really dive into what these teams are made of.
Q?
Yeah, I'd call it take a deep breath before you walk through that main door of a Friday night fight type this week for a slate. I mean, just heavyweight fights next week when the SEC dives full into the conference play. This is, like Matt said, kind of let's just everybody catch their breath, kind of regroup, because the season for a lot of these teams starts next week. That's just a reality of it. And unfortunately from our side, it's not the greatest viewership, but that doesn't mean you can't win bets either. So we will obviously enjoy the slate. We're looking at it from a completely different angle as somebody else, the casual fan. We just love the sport, and we'll just happen to win a couple dollars on the way.
Mr. Hathcote.
Yeah, another great slate of midweeks. Midweeks always pay off. It's like people need to pay more attention to them. They look forward to weekend series, but some of the best games of the week are during the midweeks. So that's the good news. Bad news is, like Keith said, the slate's not fantastic. I mentioned this on our show. I'm excited, and I rarely say this, but I'm excited for the Big Ten baseball season, at least for these first few weeks. Like, let's see who's actually good, who's going to kind of stand out, because it seems like I would put Oregon first right now, and then probably like UCLA second. I'm sure Michigan's played okay. Sure, I'm Penn State, but then outside of like those top kind of four, it seems like it's all scrambled from like 5 through like 14. So I think we'll get a little bit of separation with them starting their conference play this week. Few ACC matchups as well. But yeah, so there's a lot to look forward to for the non-casual baseball fan that's just looking forward to SEC season.
Our weekly check-ins with your hometown teams. Mr. Grissom, give us your weekly update on your Arkansas Razorbacks.
The boys are going to laugh, but they found an offense. 169 weighted runs created plus. It's 69% better than average, which is about 75% better than what they have been the last 2 years. Gabe Gackle struggling a little bit. I'm hoping he can get that worked out against Carter Gaston tonight with Portland, but Portland can't really hit. So we'll see. But starting rotation, still solid, even without Gage Wood. All in all, pretty happy. I mean, when you have a guy batting .556 and hits a home run every second at bat, you feel pretty good.
Mr. Q, how's the Florida Gator in Gator Nation looking?
Starting to have the injury bug there in Gainesville. Cade Curlin recovering from a shoulder pop out last week. Things are sounding good on it. Hopefully it just maintains that progress. Aiden King will be stepping in the Saturday role. Stud freshman, pitched lights out against Miami, has pitched well in every outing. I don't think there's a huge drop off between him and Pierce Capola outside of age. Capola's upper body injury is how they would classify it. I'm just waiting for the announcement of season ending. And then their preseason All-American Kyle Jones is out for the season, center fielder. But they're deep. They have a good team. Hayden Yost will step in. Like, I'm not worried yet. We're getting a little thin, but if we can maintain at this, we'll be just fine.
I know there's not enough accolades. I know there's not enough. What has the season done the first 3 weeks? Your offense right now is, I follow your timeline and I just bust a gut. I think after the 6th Grand Slam, I was like, hey, do you want to save some of this to Omar? Your reply was, well, you got to get there first. And then, 15 minutes later, oh, no, not 6. It's now 7 Grand Slam. What the hell are you eating down there in Knoxville?
Yeah, whatever Tony V's feeding them is working. Him and Josh Elander, the hitting coach, recruiting coordinator, are doing it correct. But yeah, the offense was never going to be an issue this year. I think these guys can agree with that. They're just, the lineup is way too stacked. But the pitching staff is kind of what stands out. Liam Doyle's emergence from being an okay Friday night guy for Ole Miss to leading the country in strikeouts so far, it's kind of going to mean a lot. AJ Russell getting healthy. He came back last week. Marcus Phillips on Saturday is feeling well. And then guys out of the bullpen just kind of handled their roles. So it's been a great start. It is sort of like, hey, let's just get to conference play. They got the Bonnies this weekend. I will say if there's a game to watch, it'll be Saturday. If you haven't heard the name Michael Salina yet, he's starting pitcher for St. Bonaventure, throws about 100, 101, and should be a first or second round guy in the MLB draft. So it'll be Tennessee's first, even though they played Oklahoma State last week, played Arizona last week, this will probably be the best starting pitcher they faced all season.
My headliner, before we get into some plays for the weekend for you guys, my headliner was, can the Ducks tame the Trojans this weekend? Tonight's game, I'm on Wager Talk right now. My eyes do the work. Oregon at USA, overnight Oregon minus 145, currently on DraftKings minus 154. Matt, any insight on the Ducks at USC tonight?
Yeah, I'm kind of high on Caden Aoki when he's pitching for Southern Cal, but this Oregon team, I think, is legit. They're hitting really well. They're really more of a small ball ERA of like a mid 4.5. They're a lot better than that this year, and they were still getting to regionals with those kind of teams the last few years. So I think Oregon rolls here. I actually saw a number of minus 150 on the Ducks. I just think with Caden Hunter pitching for Southern Cal, this is a true ace in Grayson Grinsell and a really potent offense for the Ducks. I think they waxed Southern Cal this game one. Maybe Caden Aoki can keep it lower scoring, but as somebody said on our show, this is USC is an under team.
Hugh?
Yeah, I think the headline shouldn't be, can the Ducks tame USC? I think it's opposite. Can USC figure out a way to limit the Oregon offense? I think they will tomorrow with Caden Aoki on the mound. Matt kind of led us on to that guy a couple years ago, and he's been gold there in Southern Cal. But Grayson Grinsell's on the mound for Oregon today. I think it's a great line as a single piece, one of the few single bets that you could probably get in at a reputable line. But I think Oregon, last year, if I'm not mistaken, USC won this series. So teams like that, they really matter. This is not only a Big Ten game, but this is kind of like a old Pac-12 rivalry type, one of the better, matchups the last few years. So I think Oregon has something to prove here, and maybe get that title back of kind of owning the West Coast. So Oregon rolls 2-1 in this series, but back the Ducks today and Sunday, back USC on Saturday is how I would cap it.
Nick?
Yeah, not much else to be said. I got Oregon at minus 145 as well. One thing I didn't touch on is, even though it's going to look like it's at USC, remember their field is still being worked on. So this is actually being played in Irvine, California. So it's a neutral field setup. Right? Yeah, it's like an hour. Yeah, it's like an hour drive from campus. So yeah, this is a neutral setting. I think that's where I think the better team kind of takes over tonight. Grayson Grinsell is one of the top 2 or 3 pitchers, if not the number 1 pitcher in the Big Ten this year. Kind of struggled out of the gate, but I think he's better than he's thrown so far. And then, Caden Aoki on Saturdays. It's one where I hope, and we kind of hope that Oregon just blows out USC so that we can get a better line on USC come tomorrow.
Yep.
No big Friday night lights, as you said. Next week, the conference play begins. Sean Alvarez says USC to Irvine in an hour. Funny emoji. La 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 la. And speaking of that, Mr. Alvarez, you might want to come in a few minutes early here, since you are horsing around, no pun intended there. But a week before the big Friday night lights and conference play, as you said, guys, earlier, tough card to maneuver, but there is some spots to take some shots at here. Mr. Grissom, I'm going to let you go first on what your eyes see tonight and maybe some other spots this weekend.
Yeah, I think the first one that caught my eye was East Carolina being a dog against Coastal Carolina with Ethan Norby. I think Coastal's throwing Luke Jones, if I got his name right. He's a relief pitcher, only has 3 innings, kind of got blown up in all of them. I know Coastal Carolina's got the bats, but East Carolina, this kind of being a rivalry and being at home, I think the Pirates should be favored, and you can get a better number than me. I think they're out to like plus 140 right now in some spots. And then Oregon Ducks, we talked about that. And Penn State, this was kind of a weird handicap because we were trying to figure out when they were going to throw Ryan DeSanto. It's been stated now that he's throwing in game 1. That line's already moved. I think it was plus 107 last night on Bet Rivers, and now it's minus 154. So obviously that flipped. I had a half unit on it at the plus 107, just bet a full unit on it at the 148 or 154, whatever it was. So Penn State, that game starts here in about 35 minutes. So it is confirmed Ryan DeSanto. I think Penn State is a much better team in this spot. And then I took Maryland plus 2.5 on the run line. I think it's going to be a closer game, but I like the Terps right now.
Mr. Quentin Mills.
Matt focused on single games. I'll give you a couple parlay pieces. I think North Carolina is a good spot today. You have Stanford traveling across the country. They haven't faced a staff that North Carolina possesses. Bats have been great. I think they'll slow Stanford down a little bit. And then you look at a couple other teams. Wake Forest is another team I think is a great parlay piece, especially with Logan Lunsford on the mound. Leaves Missouri last year, goes to the pitching lab of Wake Forest, and it has paid dividends and then some. He's looked absolutely great for the Demon Deacs. He's on the mound. That's a great piece. And then surprisingly, a team I'll give them out is Duke. Duke is a team that we all kind of chastised. They preseason 11th in the country, really struggled. They lose game 1 to Cornell 2 weeks ago, and they really haven't looked back since, and they just absolutely beat the brakes off of everybody in their way. On the other hand, Cal's traveling across the country, and they have struggled the last 4 and 5 games after starting the season relatively well. They're just not really figuring things out there in Berkeley. Then they have to travel over to where Duke's bats get to stay at home once again and then continue their rhythm. I think Duke's another great piece.
Mr. Hatcoat.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot stolen. I'm there. Oregon, I mentioned. I love Q's parlay pieces. I think I've got a little bit on all of them as well. A couple that weren't mentioned that I'm using. I really like Southern Miss with JB Middleton today. Kind of a tougher matchup than some of the others. Like this isn't a big favorite. I think they're minus 180. So it's one that I pieced up with Texas just because it is a bigger number. I got it around maybe plus 100 or minus 102, somewhere around there. So it's kind of a good matchup there with Jared Spencer, who has been awesome for Texas so far. Lefty that transferred in from Indiana State is their Friday night guy. I think there's one of those, Texas is kind of, I don't know if it's the cold weather or what, but they've just been kind of sleeping through some of these games. It hasn't really been on Fridays at least. So I really expect them to get a win. I think that's kind of a good play there on top of Oregon. And then, yeah, Q's mentioned a couple parlay pieces like Wake, Duke, I'm on as well.
Well, again, you guys are coming off your show an hour ago and a full slate of baseball. A lot of numbers you guys are waiting for, a lot of starting pitchers. So a lot of work to be done as we always wrap up this segment here. Mr. Grissom, I'll give you the lead where they can find all your work, your plays, your website, yada, yada, yada.
collegebaseballinsiders.com, and I'm at Grissom on X. The projections are doing really well. It's like picking 71% winners by an average run margin of 3.5. It started off 0.5, and we're trying to get back to that, just get a little bit more accurate. So it'll change every week the more sample size we get.
Have you fully recovered from your weekend in Vegas?
I have. It was a pretty easy weekend, honestly. Not a whole lot, just college baseball, a little beer, chicken strips, and a little gambling. Well, I will say, Derek, I finished eating at Barry's. Real quick story. I run up. We go to Legacy Club. We're standing there talking. Derek slaps me on the shoulder and says, "You hungry?" I said, "No, just ate Barry's an hour ago." He goes, "Come on, we're going." It's like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. We all pile in the Circle limo. There's about 10 of us. And we drive to a place called Jive Turkey in not so great part of town. But, we're in a limo. It's not like we're super flashy. We've got Derek in his $5,000 suit.
Argyle
Richard Milley watch. We walk in, and it's like the coolest restaurant. They've got the most random things on the menu, really great drinks, video poker. Stayed out till about 3 a.m. So when you get drugged to the random bar in the hood of Las Vegas by a casino owner, you just kind of have to go with it.
Well, you survived, and Sean Alvarez will be following you guys, talking some horse racing, and when Matt heads to Vegas, I know where Mr. Alvarez will be. So I hope you took it easy on Mr. Smooth.
Yeah, he went home. He didn't want to hang.
Well,
Completely missed out.
I'll have to chastise him on that. Mr. Mills, where can they find all your work?
At Q Millie, 3 L's, 2 Y's. And then I'll give it a shout out. We are on Dub Club for those that don't know. You can find our plays. Again, we're not trying to break the bank. We're just trying to get you guys winners as well as keep the site absolutely free for you guys. Plays been posted today, all 4 of us. Nick's going to add more when run lines and totals come out, but we've given you a plethora of plays for the Friday. It's not much to join. It's, for a week, it's $9 or $10. For a month, it's $30. It's $1 a day. And then, for the year, it's less than $100. We've paid for everybody's subscriptions already between the 4 of us winning. So help us out. Let's win some money together and join them.
Mr. Hatcoat, wrap it up.
Yeah, in Hathcote 413 on X. Follow us. I always mention it. Follow us on our Discord as well. Great place to talk to us. Like right now, there's fans giving each other advice in there, and like who's pitching and numbers they're seeing. So it's a cool thing. Where even if we're not in there talking to everybody, there's plenty of other college baseball fans in there to talk to, especially like hometown fans. Like we got a few different Florida State guys that know, like as much as we do on this, they know a lot more about Florida State than I do. Like, and I'm fine admitting that. So it's sometimes great to get that advice from other people. So it's just a good spot.
Well, guys, we can't thank you enough for your Friday spot, of course. Friday Night Lights is always big weekend. Next weekend as conference play starts. Our goal will be to have at least one of you, if not 2, all 3 of you back here Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. How's that?
Excellent.
Yes.
All right, gentlemen, go enjoy yourselves. Q, take care of the family. Nick, behave yourself. Matt, a good weekend to regroup. Stay home, mow the lawn. No golf yet, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday. How's that?
Sounds great.
We'll see
See
you.
you, Jeff.
Thank you.
See you guys. Sean Alvarez back here in a minute. Stay tuned.
Jared, hey, we're gonna need you to tone it down with the Summer Friday thing, okay?
What are you talking about?
Well, for one, it's not summer anymore.
Oh, really?
Coconut. Also, who is this?
I'm the caddy.
Oh, he's my intern.
Sorry, intern. I'm his intern.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
No golfing in the office, okay? Summer Fridays are over. You can keep the Hawaiian shirt, but the rest of this stuff, all right? Are you grilling?
Oh, yeah. Did you want a burger or a hot dog?
No, grilling in the office.
It's a good point. We should take this outside.
No, that don't. You put that right back down.
Yo, it's all in the hips.
Oh, dude, come on, we gotta go. Let's go.
Well, let's bring him in. Mr. Alvarez. What's up, Mr. Smooth? Can you hear me?
Sorry, I think I have myself muted, and I apologize. I'm just glad Grissom told that story because I was going to tell it.
Well, he's still in backstage, so you have the floor. You can go on your weekend with Mr. Grissom.
No, I mean, like I told you, and I texted you, I can watch live baseball. I don't care who's playing. It was a great weekend. We had great seats. We could just basically walk around the stadium. It was awesome. But like I said, if Matt didn't tell that story, I was going to tell it when I joined in. So, yes, I was not there. You know me. I tend to go to sleep around 9 p.m. I tend to push it out till, around midnight, 1 a.m. when Matt's in town. 3 a.m. is just not going to happen. So.
Well, Mr. Grissom, see, you got to put. Matt goes to Vegas, and there's no such thing as sleep. We got that different time zone thing. So, maybe you got to take that extra nap when he's heading to town. How's that?
Yeah, maybe a little midday nap before I see him. Matt's truthfully, I've told him, I've told you, he's one of the best guys I've ever been lucky enough to meet. So, a weekend in Vegas with Matt, whether it's Pizza Rock, whether it's college baseball, whether it's Barry's Legacy Club, it's always a good time.
Well, he's the best in the business. We're so glad we're in year 3 with him. I hope to break bread with him soon in Vegas, maybe for the tournament, and then maybe in Nebraska, Omaha for some college baseball World Series. How's that sound?
Well, I mean, I could, insider information. I know every time Matt sees Derek brings up Omaha. So I think that's in the cards. It's going to happen.
If I was a betting man, I'd have that as the favorite at minus 145. So we're rooting for those guys. So
exactly.
we got more races this weekend. Obviously, Tampa Bay and Santa Anita. You want to break down? What'd you see last weekend in the other horse racing?
I mean, yeah, I thought we were on a good track. At Gulfstream, we had the right horse on top with Special One. Poolside with Slim ran a good race. Just ran third, and I really wanted that pace setter, the 8. I don't know the name, but I can tell you, I saw the saddle cloth with the 8 just go backwards, just fall back a little bit. We had the exacta, needed the 8 out of there. We hit the exacta at Santa Anita with Express Train. We knew that Locked was the horse to beat. Ran away with it, but we hit a 10-1 morning line underneath with just 2 horses up top. So it would have been great if Express Train would have won, but I mean, we all knew Locke was going to run away with that field.
Well, it's been a week since we talked. Nothing really changes as we're now literally, let me see, we're in March, April, May. We're a month, 1 month, 5 weeks away from the Derby.
No, I think we're further than that because early March.
Early March. I'm saying April. So again, I just skipped over March. So we get the March and April. So we're 9 weeks away from the Derby. How's that sound?
Yeah, I mean, we're 9 weeks away. And if you look at like the Derby leaderboard, a lot of these horses want to be kind of front runners, and they're going to be shorter prices. So I don't think this is necessarily a year that, we want to look at like Derby futures, because we're going to get prices come the first Saturday of May on any horse we like. We're not necessarily going to key on these, favorites that are going to want the front end. And maybe with all these favorites wanting the front end, we're going to get that quick, early pace. And, remember 2-3 years ago when Rich Strike won, they were going 43 and change. They were cooking up front. So, if we can get that kind of pace, maybe we get a nice price in the Kentucky Derby. So maybe this isn't the year that we want to, look at Derby futures, because, like we talked about last week, still the horse that I want is included with just all other horses. And I don't want that horse at 9-2. I want that horse at 75-1, 100-1 if I'm getting, Derby futures. So, it's definitely a different year than we've seen in years past.
First race you want to break down, race 11, Tampa Bay Downs, grade 3 Tampa Bay Derby. What do your eyes see?
Yeah, so this is going to be, a Kentucky Derby prep race. So this is how these 3-year-old colts get into that starting gate, come the first Saturday in May. And let's just look at the morning line favorite, the number 2 Chancer McPatrick at 8-5. If you follow Tampa Bay at all, especially on their main dirt track, it does not play to closers. You want to be on the front end. I wouldn't say it doesn't matter how fast you're going, but you just want to be in touch with those leaders. If you look at this favorite, yeah, it gets Flavian Pratt. We've talked about Flavian Pratt. I love Flavian. Trained by Chad Brown. It's the best trainer jockey combination in this race, but this horse is going to come from way back, and it's just not what you want to do on the main dirt track at Tampa Bay. So let's for the win in, let's just chuck out the favorite and let's look at the outside horse, the number 7 Patch Adams at 2-1. Again, it's a great trainer at Brad Cox. You get Florent Giroux. I don't love that Flavian jumps off this horse to go on the 2, but if you look at what this horse does and what he needs to do to win, he's going to be in touch with the leaders. He doesn't need to clear the field because obviously that's going to be an issue on that outside post, but he can be in touch with those leaders and be, up close. That's what you want to do at Tampa Bay. And then let's go to the rail. The number 1, Owen Almighty, love the name, at 5-1. You get Irad Ortiz, Brian Lynch, not necessarily a household name trainer, but he knows what he's doing. He gets probably we've talked about that before. It's Flavian or Irad. It's 1, 2, 1A, 1B. He gets the 1B best jockey in the country. He's going to save all the ground from the rail, and he's going to be up in touch with the leaders. If not, setting the pace. So, like I said, I really like being up and in touch with the pace setters or setting the pace on the main track at Tampa Bay. So, my top picks are going to be 7 over the 1, and then if we want to go into an exacta, it's going to be, we're just going to use 1-7 up top. We're going to get it kind of slim because it's a shorter field. We do think the second choice has a good shot at winning. So let's trim it down a little bit. It's going to be 1-7 over 1, 2, 3, 7. That's just a $6 exacta. We need 1 or 7 to win, and then we need 1, 2, 3, or 7 to come in second to kind of spice it up.
When you say Flavian Pratt, and again, eyes open up, I got some good friends back east that it's almost like an auto play when we put the syndicate together on the big races. It's just every race Flavian's in. If he's not the favorite or close to a favorite, you always scratch your head. Why isn't he? Why does he jump from one horse to another in this race? Any idea?
Truthfully, it's usually up to him. It's usually not up to the owners and trainers. They could switch jockeys, but he wants his best chances to win. And when he's obviously handicapping horse racing like I am and like you are and like our listeners are, but he also has a manager. And his manager is looking out for not only his best opportunities, but the best spots for him to win. Because he's basically getting paid. I don't know the exact number. He's getting paid probably $100 to ride a horse. And then he gets paid 10% on whatever that horse wins. So he wants to win, more than you and I do, basically. So, he's picking his spots and he's choosing his spots. And, that's not only is it his skills, but it's also his skills on choosing those spots to make sure he's putting himself in the best position possible.
I'm going to shout out right now to X. We got almost 300 people, standing room only here on X. If you want to follow us on YouTube, jump on over to YouTube at East Coast Sports Investors. Subscribe, it's free. Jump on back over to X, follow us at EC Sports Investors. And of course, Mr. Smooth, Sean Alvarez at Smooth Turn 2. So that is Tampa Bay Downs, race 11, grade 3 Tampa Bay Derby. The number 7, Patch Adams. Number 1, Owen Almighty. Number 2, Chancer McPatrick. And number 3, Hill Road. A dollar exacta, 1-7 with 1, 2, 3, 7 for $6. Correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. The next race you want to break down, Santa Anita, race 9, grade 3, Sam Simone.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a casual horse bettor, this is one of my favorite races. It used to drive me crazy when I first got into horse racing, but if you look at the actual turf course at Santa Anita, they're going to go quote unquote down the hill. One of my favorite races. The interesting thing about this is usually if you're the one horse, you're in the you're the rail horse. when the first turn comes up, you're on the rail. That's not the case when you go down the hill at Santa Anita. It actually has a hairpin right as they kind of go down the hill, and then they cross over the dirt track. Like I said, if you haven't seen this race before, it's definitely something to watch. I love it. But let's look at the field, and I do really like the number 8, Mucho del Oro, the 9-5 favorite. You get Juan Hernandez, the number 1 jockey at Santa Anita. He's run really well down this track. It's very similar if you were with us for the Pegasus World Cup when I said White Barrio loves Gulfstream. It's the horse for the course. Very similar when you go down the hill. You don't want to bet on a horse when it's their first time going down. Very similar to you don't want to bet on a golfer their first time in Augusta. It's just it can happen, but it's probably not going to happen. The favorite Mucho del Oro has a great track record over this turf layout, going down the hill. He's going to set the pace. He's got a great jockey, but like I said, he's the outside post, and therefore he inherits the rail. So then let's look back to the number 4, Air Force Red. He's going to kind of turn back in distance from a mile and now go back down to the hill. That's a great angle when you go to, handicapping these down the hill turf races. But if you look at the last time this horse went down the hill in the grade 2 Hernandez, the notes say never found room. This horse was on heels, and the jockey was literally just holding him back the entire time. He's going to be up and near the lead. He doesn't need to set the pace, but let's get a little bit better trip. I don't love that, Juan Hernandez jumps off this horse and goes to the favorite, but I love to find, those horses that are 8-1 at a big price that love these type of turf courses. If you throw out that last trip, he's ran 8 times over this turf course and won 4 times with 2 second places. So it's something that he knows what to do. Let's get a better trip. Let's get an 8-1 type of price. So my top pick is going to be the number 4, Air Force Red. My second choice is going to be that favorite, the number 8, Mucho del Oro at 9-5. And then my third choice is going to be the number 3, Sorrento Sky at 5-2. Another horse that has done well over this turf course, going down the hill, just has not gone up against, the quality of the field that we're going to see today or tomorrow. So that's going to be my third choice. My fifth choice is going to be the number 5, St. Anthony at 10-1. Has gone over this turf course once, didn't really run that well, but again, is going to come from way out of the clouds from the back. They're going to be cooking up front. I do really like the fact that Umberto Rispoli is jumping on this horse. So my choices are going to be the number 4 over the number 8, the number 3, and the number 5. And then if we're going to get a little bit weird with an exacta, we're going to use those 2 shorter prices, but we're going to use my top pick at 8-1. So it's going to be 3-4-8 over 3-4-5-8, and that's only going to cost $9. And I really do think if we can get the 4 and the 5 in there, it's going to pay well, like it did last week.
So in the 9th race, grade 3, Sam Simone at the Santa Anita. Selections: number 4, Air Force Red; number 8, Mucho del Oro; number 3, Sorrento Sky; number 5, St. Anthony. And I love that name because about 45 minutes away is the North End and St. Anthony's. And God, I've had some great times there. Exacta, $1, 3-4-8 over 3-4-5-8 for $9. Correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
All righty. We will be obviously back next Friday. We're going to take you up as close to the Kentucky Derby as possible. And then Sean really starts cooking with Crisco, as we'll have the Kentucky Derby. We'll have the Preakness. We'll have the Belmont. And then, of course, we'll have summer racing from Saratoga. And then, of course, the Breeders' Cup. But as we always wrap up the segment, Mr. Alvarez, where can they find all your work? They know they can go to Twitter at Smooth Turn 2, but what about at Wager Talk?
Yeah, so the quick link to my page is wt.buzz/SA. Like I said last week, I actually have some golf plays up. You can't get them now because obviously the golf has already started, but I've got golf going. I've got horse racing picks up, and later this month I'll have baseball. So like you said, hopefully we're cooking with gas all the way up to the Kentucky Derby.
We will. Mr. Alvarez, thank you so much. We'll catch you here this Friday at the same time. And behave yourself, and we'll be talking soon.
I can make no promises.
All righty. Take care, brother. Mr. Sean Alvarez, go follow him at Smooth Turn 2. Go check him out on the Wager Talk. Quick commercial break, and we'll wrap it up. Stay tuned.
Jared, hey, we're going to need you to tone it down with the Summer Friday thing, okay?
What are you talking about?
Well, for one, it's not summer anymore.
Oh, really?
Coconut. Also, who is this?
I'm the caddy.
Oh, he's my intern.
Sorry, intern. I'm his intern.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
No golfing in the office, okay? Summer Fridays are over. You can keep the Hawaiian shirt, but the rest of this stuff, all right? Are you grilling?
Oh, yeah. Did you want a burger or a hot dog?
No, grilling in the office.
It's a good point. We should take this outside.
No, that don't. You put that right back down.
Yo, it's all in the hips.
Oh, dude, come on, we gotta go. Let's go.
Great hour here in the book. Shout out to the NCAA Insiders, Matt Grissom, Quentin Mills, Nick Hatcoat. The work that they do is amazing, as we have now started our third year with them in the NCAA Insiders. Go check out all their work. Follow them on the Twitter. And, of course, Mr. Smooth Sean Alvarez, horsing around, talking 2 races this week, Tampa Bay Downs and, of course, Santa Anita. On our timeline, 3 p.m., the closing bell with myself and Riley Magnuson. We're going to try to get that in earlier. We're going to get everyone caught up to speed on today's market. It is Freaky Friday, of course. Talk about some golf, some UFC, Pereira versus Ankaliev. Kind of a pick'em right now, which is kind of scary if you're a Pereira fan there. Shout out to Andrew McGinnis at Wager Talk, as well as I was on his channel at a 10:20 this morning talking some NHL Treadline and some NHL. Guys, we cracked 300 live on Twitter. Again, if you have not jumped on over to YouTube at East Coast Sports Investors, please do. And if you're curious about becoming an ECSI VIP member, head on over to eastcoastsportsinvestors.com, top right corner, plans and pricing. Scroll all the way to the bottom. So you see a retail price of $375. We want you to come on board for $3 a day. If you go into your ashtray, or what used to be an ashtray in your car, check your seat cushions, become a part of a team that's been here for 10 years now. There's not many people that can say that. We debuted January 1st, 2015. I have personally 50 years of experience myself. We've been public for 10. Come join us. Be a part of NCAA Conference Championships, March Madness. Be a part of VIP service delivered right to your cell phone. Whether you're at work, the gym, at a wedding, your place come right to your cell phone. And emailed all at the same time for $3 a day. If you can't afford that, you probably shouldn't be in these lanes. So keep an eye on our timeline. 3 o'clock, the closing bell. Maybe a little earlier, hopefully. So, guys, thank you so much. We will see you soon.